Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm doing my review for WWE Survivor Series 2025. So kicking off the show, we had Team Rhea and Io, Team Rio, whatever you want to call it. They defeated Team Kabuki, or at least that's the way I saw it. I know that they kind of advertised it as like different team captains, but that's the way I looked at it. That's kind of how this whole thing started, was with Rhea and Io and the Kabuki Warriors. But as a Wargames match, it was a massive disappointment, and as a match, it was meh. Like, I expected so much more out of this one. The women's Wargames matches very rarely fail, in my opinion. The last few years ones have been really good, and yeah, this was very disappointing. The ordering of the entrance was very, very weird. Both sides, I like both sides counts as well. On the heel and face team, the entrance made absolutely no sense at all. You know, with Becky coming out second and AJ coming out third for their teams, I thought was very weird. I feel very sorry for Last Legend coming out last as the newest member of the main roster. Not many people knew who she was. No offense to her, it's not her fault, but you know, she wasn't majorly successful in NXT. She didn't win the Women's Championship. She didn't win the North American Championship. She didn't even win the Women's Tiger Championships while she was down there either. So, and I know there are some people that, I mean, I want to say some people, but it feels like sometimes the majority of people don't watch NXT. They'll watch Raw and SmackDown, but they won't watch NXT, which is very bizarre to me. NXT is very good, and you should definitely watch NXT if you don't. But it means that they don't know who some of these people are, and this was especially on show here when Last Legend came out as the last person in, and there was silence. And honestly, this is not anything to do with Lash. This is not Lash's fault at all. This is just bad ordering from whoever produced the match. It's not a Triple H thing, it's the producers thing, and they should have known better, I feel like. I understand if they want to try and put Lash over, then this is the way to do it. You have her come out last, make her look like a force and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, this really didn't work. There was no pot for her at all. It was completely silent, and yeah, I felt really, really sorry for her. As a match, it wasn't really that good at all. Like, there was only a couple of weapons. There was the bin lid and the kendo sticks, and that was about it. There was a chain that Kyrie brought in, but it wasn't used apart from when she first came into the match. You know, it was a case of, like, no one in this match stood out. There was 10 superstars in this match, and all of them did practically nothing. There was just a lot of laying about for people. Charlotte Flair was on the floor for a long time, and yeah, it's like I said, no one really stood out. There was no MVP of the match, like, because they were all crap throughout. I think the only highlight of the match was Io Sky's swanton from the top of the cage with the bin on her, which I understand people will be like, oh, this bloody spot again. But people enjoy it every time. It's a great part of these Wargames matches, and it gives Io a kind of gimmick within a match that she's always in. So I fully get why they do it. It's very enjoyable to watch. It's especially a risk which you can't see anything, and yeah, I feel like that this, I don't know, it's a thing of like the fans moaning all the time. Like, yes, she does do it all the time, but does it get a pop? Is it over? Yes, so why would they not do it? And it's a very enjoyable moment in the match, so yeah, of course they're going to do it. But yeah, that was the only, like, well, it was an awesome spot, but it was the only good part of the match. But yeah, I thought that, I don't know, like, everything about it just didn't work. Like, the teams didn't make much sense, as I've been through before. And then you've got, yeah, it's just, for me, since Wargames came back into existence, not in 2022 Survivor Series, I mean, since it came back with NXT in like 2017, 2018, this is by far the worst Wargames matches we've had. It was awful. I was very disappointed with it. And yeah, this was the kind of match where it was proven that this match especially should have just been a 5-on-5 tag, and it probably would have worked out a lot better. But putting it inside Wargames was a massive mistake. Following that, we had Dominic Mysterio with the Judgment Day, from multiple members of the Judgment Day, defeating John Cena to become the new Intercontinental Champion. And man, this was such a fun match. It was a very enjoyable watch. Yes, it wasn't the classic you'd expect from John Cena in his final PLE match, but the story and drama telling of the match was just, it had everything in my opinion. It was very, very good. And yeah, I absolutely loved this one. The match and the wrestling was good. It was fairly evenly contested. It was paced well. Cena put in the usual moves of doom. Dom was using underhanded tactics to get the advantage. It was all very run-of-the-mill for these two, which sometimes is actually fine. When we've just come off what was a very disappointing Wargames match, sometimes all you want is just a pretty decent match from two people, which is exactly what we got here. Yeah, speaking of underhanded tactics, the Hurricane Rana, or the failed Hurricane Rana, was a risky spot to do. Like, I get if it was a mistake, then fair enough, it happens. But essentially, Dominic went for a Hurricane Rana off the barricade, and Cena kind of didn't flip over and just powerbombed He powerbombed Dom onto the floor, and he landed shoulder and head first. There was a splat when he hit the floor. It was awful looking, I'm not going to lie. I did think, and I did buy into the fact that Dominic was hurt. I was very, very concerned for the health of a hero to all men and lesbians around the world, that, you know, he would be injured for a while. So luckily it wasn't the case. I did start thinking, oh, are they going to bring someone out to, like, to have an impromptu last Cena PLE match. But no, it was a case of Raquel and Roxanne both attacked Cena. Raquel did the Kiana bomb, and Roxanne Perez did pop rocks to Cena, and then Dom came in, did a 619 and got a very close... Well, no, he didn't get a near fall, did he? No, the referee, who let power and his own ego take over in the moment, which I was very disappointed with, as referees should not be the main focus of attention. After the 619 that Dom did, I think a splash afterwards, I can't remember exactly, he just refused to do a pin. Like, Dom pinned Cena, and he just refused to kick out Raquel and Roxanne. I think that's a power trip. I feel like the power really got to Chad Patton's head, and he should really go and have a look in the mirror and have a chat with himself. And yeah, it's just that if you're going to be a referee, you're going to leave your ego at the door. Like, you know, it's not about you. And to have a referee absolutely screw over Dom like that, I think was absolutely disgraceful. But the match carried on. We saw Cena went for the 5 moves of doom again, and the referee took a bump this time, which he fully deserved. I'm not going to lie to you. Chad Patton deserved to be laid out. And then we saw Finn Balor and JD come out. They both attacked him. They both were made to look like absolute bums because they were taken out by Cena almost immediately with a double attitude adjustment. And then we saw the return of Liv Morgan, which I was very happy about. Very good to see Liv back. And she's been one of the highlights of last year and the short amount of time she was around this year. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what she does going forward and how her interactions with Raquel and Roxanne are, considering that they not only have become a lot closer over time, but have also lost the tag team titles. So I'm interested to see how that goes down. But also the interactions with Dom, I think it'll be great. How she... whether she's been watching the stuff with the Judgment Day, because I feel like it's very weird how Liv returns on the same day that Finn and JD, Raquel and Roxanne all start helping out Dom to bring back gold, when the whole time that he's been Intercontinental Champion and also the whole time he's been AAA Mega Champion, they haven't helped him at all. So I feel like it's very interesting that maybe Liv is the one that sent JD and Balor and Roxanne and Raquel out there maybe. But no, this was all very good. And yeah, no, overall, this was really fun. I very much enjoyed it. I get that, some people won't like the fact that this went down and like, oh, John Cena got beaten by a woman. So what? He put over like 4 people during that match. He put over Liv by having like, just by the interaction itself. He put over Raquel and Roxanne by taking their finishers and selling them well. And he put over Dom, obviously, by losing the match to him and giving him back the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, this all very much benefits those members of the Judgment Day. And, yeah, I think the match was enjoyable. I found myself getting really invested in it like I do with Dom matches, because Dom is just a fantastic wrestler. And, yeah, I'm very happy that Dom is a double champion again. I look forward to seeing what he does this time as Intercontinental Champion. Hopefully it's an improvement even on what was a great Intercontinental Championship reign already. The first time, I'm hoping he's going to have an even better second reign and even longer one. That would be even better. But yeah, no, I very much enjoyed this one. And it was a fresh take on what has been what was a crap match to start with. This was a very welcomed bit of fresh air to have before we start through another load of adverts. Following that, we had Stephanie Vaquer defeat Nikki Bella to retain the Women's World Championship, and there's like a particular way to look at this match in my opinion. Was it good? For Nikki Bella's current run, yeah, I'm sure this was a pretty decent match. Was it a good Stephanie Vaquer match? Hell no. This was probably her weakest match of her WWE run so far, and I know she's had just random matches on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, but yeah, this, in my opinion, was Stephanie Vaquer's worst WWE match to date. For the standard that Stephanie Vaquer holds herself to, this really wasn't it, and it shouldn't have been Nikki Bella in this position for this pay-per-view. This was very much a Raw match, and this should have happened on a Raw. Like, this didn't need to make pay-per-view. You could have quite easily done Raquel versus Vaquer here. You could have done Roxanne versus Vaquer here. You could have done Vaquer versus Roxanne versus Raquel and seen how that dynamic worked. But instead, they went with a woman who pretty much can't wrestle anymore in Nikki Bella, or at least can't wrestle very good, and put her on a Big 4 pay-per-view, on a pay-per-view that was not very good overall anyway. So yeah, it wasn't very good. The match itself was fine. Like, it really could have, as I said, it wouldn't have gone amiss on a Monday Night Raw. There was really no quality within the match either. There was, like, nothing amazing happened. It was just Vaquer kind of going through the motions of what her matches are. I saw a tweet afterwards, which I thought was absolutely disgraceful. I mean, maybe disgraceful is a bit of a dramatic word for it, but they put Stephanie Vaquer matches are just the opponent or the heel stopping her from doing the ass move, and then she does the ass move and then she wins, which isn't the case. She put on a Match of the Year candidate with Io Sky at WrestlePalooza, and yeah, she's much better than just what that describes. And yeah, it was just not very, like, I hate that tweet because it just isn't the case. But yeah, I did expect a classic out of this one, but this just really wasn't very good. Vaquer could have had a much better opponent for the show, as I've said. WWE need to stop putting Nikki Bella on PLEs because she's had, if you don't include the Rumble, it's in like singles matches, you had like 2 or 3 singles matches on PLEs this year. That really shouldn't have been the case. They should have put her matches on Raw pretty much. And yeah, I really hope that Stephanie Vaquer gets better feuds and better opponents going forward for the World Championship, or else it's going to be seen as a failed run when it really shouldn't have been. And yeah, it was a case of crap match, crap match, and then good match, because we'll get to the main event in a minute. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed the main event in the end, especially after a rewatch. But yeah, for me, Vaquer and Nikki Bella just missed completely. It shouldn't have been this match on the card. You could have done something else for this one. There's a lot more championships that could have had a lot better matches on the card. You could have done Ilya Dragunov Open Challenge. It would have been 10 times better than this. So yeah, very, again, disappointed with this one. In just a way of like Stephanie Vaquer's standards, disappointed. But as I said, it was pretty alright for Nikki Bella, but this match should have never made pay-per-view in the first place. And finally, in the main event, Team Heyman, so Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Brock Lesnar, defeated Team Punk, which was CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns. And yeah, this honestly was the match that definitely needed a rewatch. And yeah, upon the second watch, I think if you take away the seriousness of it and you kind of see it as, I don't want to say fun, but just see it as like a good time, it's actually pretty good. Like, if you don't take it too seriously, you could get away with saying this was a pretty decent match. Personally, Punk was the wrong call to go in first. I would have had Cody go in first. I feel like, you know, if they just swapped Punk and Cody around, Cody could have done the first 8 to 10 minutes of the match and it would have made way more sense. And then have Punk come in, because you could tell Punk was just a little bit gassed by the end of it. There was a moment where Cody back elbowed Punk and Punk like dropped for it and stuff. Cody's an idiot, right? Because he knows within the confines of the match there is only 4 people in the ring right now. It's him, it's Bron Breakker, it's Drew McIntyre, and it's CM Punk, right? He just took out Breakker and Drew McIntyre. If he looked down, he can see Breakker and McIntyre right in front of him. So who does he think is coming up behind him? To the point where he has to back elbow them. Like, of course it's Punk. It's either Punk or a referee, so you're not going to elbow either one of those people. So he's a bellend for doing that. I just thought it was very funny. And then like they reacted as if it was going to lead to something, and then they just forgot about it. It was very bizarre. The order made fairly more sense than the women's match, not massively, but we did see Brock and Roman come out last, which made the most sense. Well, last for their teams, which made the most sense. Like the IC title match, it was a really fun watch. It wasn't the best Wargames match. It certainly wasn't the worst Wargames match that happened earlier in the night. But yeah, it was match of the night, but only just. Like, I don't know, it was it was way more enjoyable upon rewatch. I probably would have given Cena and Dom match of the night if I hadn't have rewatched it, but it's a Wargames match and it did have some fun elements to it. But, and this is my biggest gripe of the match. This is my biggest complaint of the night, by far. Jey Uso comes out. He attacks people, puts people down, and then he does his typical. And everybody just starts cheating again. The music plays, and Jay goes up to the top of the cage and is dancing around. You can see CM Punk's bopping in the ring. Cody Rhodes is kind of just stood there. Jimmy Uso's eating as well. Now, I want you to bear in mind, when Jey Uso came into the match, the numbers were even, and there was only 2 more people. There was 8 people in the ring at that point. So we know for 100% sure that the next person coming into the match is Brock Lesnar. We know this. It couldn't be anybody else. So why are we dancing around? Why Jey Uso is like grinding upon one of the wires that's holding the Wargames cage in place on top of the cage. He looks like a complete dumbass. And they're all having a really good time, all messing around. And Brock Lesnar interrupts, and he interrupts before his cue is due as well. Like, he comes out way too early. And I fully understand that. He probably saw that and went, what the hell is this? Get me out there now. I'm going to kill some people. Like, come on. If you know Brock Lesnar's coming in next, you don't mess about. You make sure all of his partners within the match are out of the way. Make sure they're taken out. They can't interfere in the match. Because all 4 of you need to lock in to take out Brock Lesnar. I know, they're all fucking dancing around and pissing about. And it was so annoying. I was screaming at the TV about how Brock Lesnar was coming in next. And yeah, everyone deservedly got absolutely beaten up afterwards. They were thrown around and everything. And yeah, it was fully deserved. And I blame no one but Jey Uso for that. Because we didn't need to start yeeting in the middle of a match. Because, like, I get it, and I get that it's over. And on a Raw, it should just be a normal entrance. On pay-per-views, I can understand why they might do an extra long entrance for the eating and stuff and whatever. Mid-match eating can get fucked. They did it at SummerSlam, and it annoyed me there. They did it here, and it annoyed me even more. Like, it's so annoying. And especially under the circumstances of one of the most dangerous wrestlers of all time is about to head to the ring afterwards. But away from that rant, Brock didn't care about his cue, as I said. He came out way too early and just beat everyone up. Roman came out, him and Lesnar just beat the crap out of each other on the outside of the ring. Brock Lesnar left the cage, which is perfectly within the rules of the match, because you can't leave the match once the match has begun, but because Roman hadn't entered the cage, the match hadn't officially started, therefore Brock and him could brawl on the outside. Roman did like 3 to 4 Superman punches, and then just got absolutely dicked on by Brock Lesnar for like the rest of the time, until obviously people started taking him out. From this point, the Wargames really livened up a bit. It was a lot of scrapping, a lot of brawling, just 10 guys beating the crap out of each other. Weapons were involved, like tables and chairs. Again, not a lot. Would have preferred more weapons, but it was better than the women's one. And it was just an overall fun match to watch after that point. And then, obviously, the finish, the big talking point of the night, was a hooded figure came into the ring. He super kicked CM Punk. He did a stomp to CM Punk and then left. Now, this is what we do know for definite. Was it Seth Rollins? Was it fuck? No, it was never Seth Rollins. Not after just having just having shoulder surgery. He would never have got up that cage the way he did, and he was moving way too quickly. Was it Chris Jericho? No, the guy is like 50. He was never getting up and down the cage that quickly. So my theory comes down to 3 people. LA Knight. It could very well be LA Knight. He's been talking about how frustrated he is with stuff. It would make perfect sense. He is facing Jay in the tournament on Monday, so he could kind of play into that as well. It could be, and this is more wishful thinking than anything else, it could be Ethan Page. I feel like that would be a really cool way to get him into the ring, but then he also has his storylines with Chelsea Green going on, so maybe they don't want to take him away from that, so I don't understand why it's not. And this makes the most sense, and this is the way I kind of want it to go, is that it's Austin Theory. And, I mean, for me, as long as this move puts his career back on track from the absolutely disgraceful way it's been going recently, and I mean recently is in the past few years, then I have no issues with this. I feel like putting him in the Vision is the best thing. I even did a video on it talking about how Austin Theory would be a good part of this group. So yeah, I'm fully for it if he is in it. But yeah, this makes the most sense. Would it be that being Theory? And I do hope it's him. I hope we get a reveal on Raw. I hope they don't draw this out for a while. And yeah, that was a really cool way to end. And then we saw Bron Breakker pin CM Punk, World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, to get the win. I think it's a really good choice. We've seen people before pin champions inside of Wargames and then go on to win championships. The first one that comes to mind is Raquel Rodriguez, or Raquel Gonzalez at the time, pinned Io Sky, or Io Shirai, in one of the NXT Wargames matches. She then went on to the following April to win the NXT Women's Championship from Io. So, yeah, I feel like it's a really good choice to do. It makes Bron look really good. I think the MVP of the match itself was either Bron Breakker or Brock Lesnar. And, yeah, I think overall, as I said, it wasn't my match of the night, but it was very, very close between this and the Dominic Cena match. But yeah, it was a good way to start, and also a very talkative way. No, it was a good way to end, and a very talkative way to end the pay-per-view, like WWE tend to do most of the time. Like, as much as people want to bitch and moan about WWE right now, what they always seem to do is get us talking after pay-per-views, and yeah, this is one of those great examples of that. So, and it makes Monday Night Raw a must-watch, which is kind of what they're looking for. So, yeah, as I said, as much as fans always want to piss and moan about stuff, yeah, they're just hooking us back in again for what will, I assume now, be the build to Cena's last match and then the build to the Rumble. So, yeah, as I said, pretty decent match. Say my match tonight, but only just. But yeah, very interesting way to finish. So those are my thoughts and opinions of WWE Survivor Series 2025. Do put down in the comments below what you thought of the show. I have some takes on this one just to do with other stuff that wasn't the wrestling. 4 matches. Why? Why are we only doing 4 matches? They could have quite easily done 5 or 6 on this show. And then you've got to take into consideration the ads, the pissing about, the entrances being particularly long, celebrations after the match being long. Like, if you record just how much wrestling was on the show, and I'll see if I can find the image that I found of one of the stats that was taken from the thing. Here it is. Here you go, look. WWE put an hour and 49 minutes of actual wrestling on their PLE. It was like a 3.5-hour show. And then if you compare it to Blood and Guts, like you can see, Blood and Guts was a 2.5-hour show, and they put 1 hour and 54 minutes of wrestling on TV. And it was on free TV, not pay-per-view or PLE. You know, do you not think that is just a little bit bloody dodgy? Like, it's pretty ridiculous, like, having that be the case, and then it be, like, essentially people in America are having to pay a ton for these pay-per-views. Like, for me, it's only like a tenner or 12 quid for Netflix. Like, I feel sorry for the people in America who have to pay, like, top dollar for this stuff, and it just doesn't live up to the hype. There's barely any wrestling on it. I feel sorry for the people in the arena who have to, what I assume is essentially just sit around and watch these things on a screen if they want to. Like, why are we seeing skyline images of the city which we're in? I don't care that they're in San Diego. The people in San Diego know what San Diego look like. So why are we showing that? We don't need to do that. You know, the amount of ads that happened, like, this is the thing though. WWE are way more, like, full of money than they were, like, back in the early 2000s, and we weren't getting half the advertisements back then than they do now, and they don't really need all these advertisements now because they're a million dollar company. Yeah, it's just a really struggle watch because it's taking the attention away from the pay-per-view. The fact that I know that after every match I can go for a piss, go get a drink, maybe go for a half-an-hour walk, come back and I won't have missed anything is really, really annoying, and it kind of takes away from the experience of watching a PLE. So yeah, really not impressed with how that went. And as well as that, the Wargames thing, I'm not saying this would scrap the stipulation of Wargames. What I'm saying is you treat it like Hell in a Cell. If there are 2 groups who hate each other and they feuded a bit, and well, not a bit, they feuded for a while and there's no other option, then you shout out Wargames. Same way that if 2 people can't stand each other to a certain degree, you shout out Hell in a Cell. That's the way it should be used. Go back to Survivor 5 Survivor Series matches. If anything, if you do a draft after WrestleMania or before the Royal Rumble, You could do like Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series again. I enjoyed. I know I'm in like the minority here. I enjoyed and I very much liked the Raw versus SmackDown idea of Survivor Series. I feel like Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce could even add to that feud of Raw versus SmackDown. I feel like these two have been like kind of teasing a match for like years now, and they don't even need to have a match. Just to have them going back and forth in a feud type way is really fun, and these two would be really good at it. So yeah, maybe it's just something to consider, is going back to Raw versus SmackDown. I know some people absolutely hate it and they don't see the point in brand supremacy, but honestly, I kind of liked it, and it built. I remember the Under Siege feud between Raw and SmackDown they had in either 2017 or 2018. I loved that. I thought it was really, really cool. So, yeah, I would prefer that over seeing Wargames matches that are just thrown together for the sake of putting them in Wargames. But yeah, do put down in the comments below what you thought of the matches, what you thought of just everything in general, how you thought of the pay-per-view. I'm interested to see what everyone has to say on this one. And yes, do like the video if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe. There's lots of stuff coming up on the channel this next week. There's coverage of NXT Deadline and TNA Final Resolution. They're both next weekend, as well as lists and other stuff. I think there's my my like best matches of every WWE PLE and that series will continue. So do look out for those as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.